Hi, my name is Alex. I am 22 years old, and I am learning English. 2 years ago, I could not speak English at all. When people spoke to me in English, I felt scared and confused. My brain worked very slowly, and I could not find the right words to answer. But today I can speak English much better. I can think quickly and give smart answers when people talk to me. How did I do this? I want to share my story with you and teach you my methods for learning English fast and smart. Learning English is not just about memorizing words and grammar rules. It is about training your brain to think in English and respond quickly. This takes practice, but anyone can do it if they use the right methods. My English learning journey was not always easy. Sometimes I felt frustrated and wanted to give up, but I discovered some simple tricks that helped me improve very quickly. Now, I will tell you these secrets so you can learn English faster too. When I first started learning English, I had a big problem. When someone asked me a question in English, my brain did this. First, I listened to the English words. Then, I translated them into my native language in my head. Next, I thought of an answer in my native language. After that, I tried to translate my answer back to English. Finally, I spoke the English words. This process took too much time. By the time I was ready to answer, the conversation had already moved to a different topic. The other person thought I didn't understand, or that I was not smart. This slow thinking made me feel embarrassed and frustrated. I avoided speaking English because I was afraid of looking stupid. But avoiding English only made my problem worse. I realized I needed to change my approach completely. The solution was simple but powerful. I needed to train my brain to think directly in English, without translating everything back and forth. I created a daily routine to train my brain to think faster in English. Every morning, I spent 30 minutes doing specific exercises that improved my English thinking speed. Exercise 1. English self-talk. Every morning, I talked to myself in English for 10 minutes. I described what I was doing. Now I am brushing my teeth. The toothbrush is blue. My teeth feel clean. Now I am looking in the mirror. My hair is messy. I need to comb it. This exercise taught my brain to think in English automatically. At first, it was very difficult. I had to stop and think about every word. But after 2 weeks, English self-talk became much easier and more natural. Exercise 2. Quick question. Practice. I wrote down 20 simple questions like, what is your name? Where do you live? What did you eat for breakfast? Then I practiced answering them as quickly as possible. I timed myself with my phone. The goal was not to give perfect answers, but to give fast answers. Speed was more important than perfection. This exercise trained my brain to respond quickly without thinking too much. Exercise 3. English number counting. Every day, I counted from 1 to 100 in English as fast as possible. Then I counted backwards from 100 to 1. This simple exercise helped my brain process English automatically without translating. Numbers are basic, but practicing them quickly improved my overall English fluency. When your brain can handle simple English automatically, it has more energy for complex conversations. Besides thinking fast, I learned how to give smart responses even when I didn't know all the words. Here are the techniques that helped me most. Technique 1. Use simple words. Instead of trying to use difficult words I wasn't sure about, I learned to express complex ideas using simple words everyone knows. For example, instead of saying, I'm contemplating, I say, I'm thinking about. Simple words are often better than difficult words. Technique 2. Buy time with phrases. When someone asked me a difficult question, I learned to use phrases that gave me time to think. That's a good question. Let me think about that. Well, I think These phrases sound natural and give your brain a few extra seconds to prepare an answer. Technique. 3. Ask for clarification. When I didn't understand something completely, I learned to ask smart questions. Could you repeat that? What do you mean by? Can you give me an example? Asking questions shows you are engaged and want to understand better. Technique 4. Redirect when stuck. When I couldn't answer a question perfectly, I learned to redirect the conversation. I'm not sure about that, but I know that's difficult to explain, but let me tell you, this keeps the conversation flowing naturally. The most important part of my learning routine was building confidence. Confidence makes you think faster and speak more naturally. Here's how I built my English confidence. Daily conversations with myself. Every evening, I had conversations with myself in English. I pretended to be two different people having a discussion. I would ask myself questions and then answer them. This sounds silly, but it really works. For example, I would ask, "Alex, what did you do today?" Then I would answer, "Well, I went to work, had lunch with my friend, and studied English. It was a good day." These practice conversations prepared me for real conversations. Recording and listening. I recorded myself speaking English for 5 minutes every day. Then I listened to the recording and noticed my mistakes. This helped me hear how I sounded and identify areas for improvement. At first, listening to my own voice was embarrassing. I made many grammar mistakes and spoke slowly. But over time, I could hear my improvement. This gave me confidence to speak more in real situations. Celebrating small wins. Every time I had a successful English conversation, I wrote it down in my notebook. I celebrated every small victory, understanding a joke, making someone laugh, explaining something clearly. These small wins built my confidence over time. After 3 months of daily practice, I started applying my skills in real situations. I began having conversations with English speakers whenever possible. I talked to cashiers at stores, asked for directions from strangers, and joined English conversation groups online. Each conversation was practice that made me faster and more confident. The key was not to worry about making mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes when learning a language. The important thing is to keep trying and learning from each conversation. I also started watching English movies and TV shows without subtitles. This trained my brain to understand English at natural speed. At first, I only understood 30% of what was said, but gradually, my comprehension improved. As my English improved, I learned more advanced techniques for giving intelligent responses. Use examples. When explaining something, I always tried to give examples. Examples make your meaning clear and show good communication skills. Connect ideas. I learned to connect my responses to previous parts of the conversation using phrases like, "building on what you said," or, "that reminds me of," show interest. I learned to ask follow-up questions that showed I was listening and interested. "How did that make you feel?" Or, "What happened next?" Express opinions. Carefully. I learned to express opinions using phrases like, "in my opinion," or, "I think that." This sounds more polite and intelligent. Today, I can think quickly in English and give smart, confident responses. My brain no longer translates everything. It thinks directly in English. This change transformed my ability to communicate and opened many new opportunities. The most important lesson I learned is this: English fluency is not about perfect grammar or knowing every word. It's about communicating your ideas clearly and confidently, even with simple language. Your English learning journey will be different from mine, but the principles are the same. Practice daily, focus on communication over perfection, build confidence through small wins, and never be afraid to make mistakes. Start with simple exercises like English self-talk and quick question practice. Use smart response techniques when you get stuck. Most importantly, Believe in yourself and keep practicing every day. Remember, every English speaker was once a beginner. With consistent practice and the right techniques, you can train your brain to think fast and respond intelligently in English. Your future English-speaking self is waiting. Start your practice today. Good luck with your English learning journey. You can do this.